To the Saturday games, we've got the Drua versus the Melbourne Rebels, the informed Rebels. No new injuries for the two sides, which is an absolute blessing to any team at the moment. But we do expect to see the Sledgehammer, your favourite player of the year, Sal, back from concussion. That, again, we get no media from them, but timeline says he should hopefully be back.
Timeline, but also the fact that this is a home game in Fiji, and he is the cult hero Fijian rugby player.
What are you talking about, mate?
Mate, he is the cult hero. He's a gold.
You reckon they're going to go, look, you failed your concussion, but you're the cult hero, so you're back anyway. No, look, his name is the Sledgehammer. No bloke with the name the Sledgehammer can miss more than 1 week with concussion.
I don't think you can be concussed if your name's the Sledgehammer.
I agree. I think it was a play. They were resting him for this week. Exactly. On the Rebels side of things, you have Josh Canham should be back from his concussion. He's been exceptional so far this season. That's a big in. And Andrew Kellaway is expected back from his foot fracture as well, which will add a lot of starch and depth in the back line. It's just going to be the question that I'm sure we'll get to of where in the back line he plays. But we'll come to that. To the Drua first. What do you think? What do you think we have to see here?
So, I mean, look, the Drua, again, we'll say it every time. If they're playing a home game in Fiji, they're rolling out. It's not even, the 16th man. It's 18. It's going to be 18 against 15 players. With the crowd involved and just how much the players step up. If you know how the old adage, you ask players, come on, give us 110%. Well, playing at home, the Drua, each and every player is given 120%. They're just finding an extra 20%. And that really goes a long way. So they're going to come out absolutely firing, and the Rebels are going to have to really front up to stay in this game, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see Sau back on the wing. I think after last week's performance, we're going to see Ravava and Vota holding down the centres, and then it's just on how they want to proceed. I think with do they want Ravatamunda back on the wing, or he had a pretty good game at fullback. So I can't really see them changing from Ravatamunda at fullback and giving Marcy another crack on the wing. So I think that will be the way that they run out the team. But the
only other one is if Ndroa Sese takes a spot at fullback again. But I agree. I think just Ravatamunda was so solid. It's going to be hard for them to play anything else.
That's it. And so, I don't know if I can really see. I don't think I'll really read too much into last week. I think I haven't watched the game, but I think last week they just fell out of the game pretty early, and then were absolutely chasing it, and just felt the scoreboard pressure and whatever. Whereas, I wouldn't really think there's going to be anything relating to last week's performance to this one, because it doesn't matter if they fall behind in scoreboard pressure when they're playing at home. We've talked about this before. I think there was a game against the Chiefs last year where they scored 3 tries in the last 10 minutes to almost win that game. So they'll be playing the full 80 this week regardless, and they will be coming out absolutely firing. Up front, I can't really, maybe they seem to rotate the props around a lot. Ikanavieri, the captain, obviously will be starting. I think the same locks will run out in the back row. Can't really see them changing that either. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's really any changes in strategy. Like I said, I think it's just literally. I think they just had a quiet one last week because I was saving all the gas in the tank for this week, to be honest with you. So
yeah, look, I just a quick little correction for you, mate. The white shark is the Capitan again. So Ikanavieri just has that weight off his shoulders, so he can play even better than he already has in his exceptional form. But look, I think the big thing for them is we saw it last year. They got pasted by the Hurricanes. Then they turned up again and beat Moana Pacifica, and then they got pasted by the Crusaders, and then they had that phenomenal comeback game against the Chiefs where they almost stole it at the end of the match that you already referred to. So I think they just have the ability, as a lot of Fijian sides do, to be honest, to kind of switch off at times. And I've got no doubt, I agree with you, that motivation of being at home, mate, they're going to be an absolutely different beast this week. And it's going to be a tough game for the Melbourne Rebels. One, I'm really excited to see how it plays out. I think the big thing for them is just who takes the 10 jersey. I think they tried Valentini a little bit last week, and obviously it didn't pay off for them. So I suspect they'll just go back to Teddy Teller. But, if the bloke's not giving you the answers, how many times do you just go back and try the same tactic to see if it can work for you? So that's going to be the biggest question for them. If they can get a 10 helping to unleash their backs, which, let's be honest, you don't have to do a lot to unleash their backs, just make some good decisions and work out when to kick the ball and kick well, then they're going to be exceptional. And on the Rebel side, I think it's just going to be basically, can they keep building? I think they've talked about trying to do a lot of the things that the top four sides in the competition are doing. They're trying to go from strength to strength and actually be clinical, relentless, and put those 80-minute performances out there, which I think they're starting to get close to. If they can stay switched on, then I think the Ndrua will find it a lot harder to score than they have against some of the softer Ds in the competition, and the Ndrua as well might struggle a little bit more for ball, considering the pilfering that they get from the Melbourne Rebels as well. They steal so much ball.
Yeah, for sure. What I'm looking forward to the most is going to be the physicality. So I'd be amazed if they don't run Ekuasi out again. They need that carrying. I think this was something I forgot to say in the review, which was just, Richard Hardwick obviously had been playing so well, but I was still losing my mind every week at rolling out 2 sevens, at having Wilkin and Hardwick in the 8 jersey. I just thought, you've got these big ball carriers, you've got Tamati Ioane and Ekuasi. I was like, you've got to play one of those guys because you need the go forward. They showed how good that was last week with Ekuasi's big game. So I'm really looking forward to the physical. I mean, if I was them, I'd be rolling out Tamati Ioane at 6 and Ekuasi at 8. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Tamati Ioane's injured, but they ran out Daniel Maiava as their only bench loose forward, and he made that. He was the one that almost scored that try off the Brad Wilkin rake, and he looked big and fast. And then Angelo Smith scored the reserve lock as well. So they've got a whole lot of big bodies that they're bringing off the bench. Throw in Kobus Elof, who's now moved to loosehead for this year because of how many good quality tight heads they had, and Pone coming off the bench as well. They've just got this South African freaking bomb squad coming. I know they're not South African, but that style bomb squad coming off the bench. It's going to be a huge last 20 minutes, I think, as these guys just go head to head, and there's going to be some huge hits. And I hope we see more of what we did when the Fijian and Drua took on the Waratahs, just that raw physicality, and it's very, very good to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think out back, the question is where some of the excitement will be. We talked about Monty Ioane, 151 metres last week, just finding a way to get involved all across the park. So he'll be coming up against, I don't know, either Marcy or Ravatamunda or someone. But, it'll be exciting to see how those matchups play out. And the question we talked about at the start of this game, how and where does Kellaway fit in? I can say very simply, can we screw right off the concept of trying to play him at 13, which they tried a couple of times. It's just, is he on the wing or is he at fullback? For me, I think you roll him out at fullback straight away. I think Joe Pincus had a pretty good game last week, all things considered, but Kellaway is your out-and-out best fullback option in that team for mine. And that's, I think that's his best position, is either the wing or fullback. And that Rebels team, I think it's probably fullback. Is that how you see it, Harry?
Yeah, look, I think the biggest thing is it depends on the form of the centres and what they have in other positions. I might butcher his name, so I apologise, but the young bloke, David Feluai, who was the big unit at 12, I thought he was really, really impressive. And obviously we've all been raving about how good Stacey Ely's form is. So I think that those two deserve another chance to play again together. Which means that, I agree. Pincus has been great every time he's played, but I think he's probably the bloke that slides back onto the bench. And, the best thing about that for me is that means that we get to punt Euster out of the 23, because that bloke's probably the weak point, to be honest with you. And I say that despite him probably having his best couple of games in his last 2 matches.
I was going to say, he is the one to go for sure. So yeah, but I don't know. I think equally. I
hope he doesn't listen to the pod. He's a good bloke.
He's got a great haircut. Well, actually, no, he shaved his head now, but he doesn't have a great haircut. I take it back. I was looking for positives. Sorry. But no, Kellaway I think will be equally effective on the wing or the whatever. I would, if you want someone else to play fullback, you could start him over Lockie Anderson on the wing. But I expect them to play him at fullback is where I
agree.
See him playing. So, all right, tips for this one. I'm going to go the Drua, and I'm going to go the Drua by. I don't know how much respect I want to give the Rebels here. I'm going to go the Drua by. I'm going to go 12 again. I wanted to go more.
Huge, mate. That is huge. I reckon. Look, I can see why you did that, but I can't believe you went such a big margin. I'm going to tip the upset. I'm going to say the Melbourne Rebels will get it done by 5.
Oh, Huge.
So I like that we're not in alignment here. This is good.
Back in the boys, but you just want to see. You just think Carter Gordon's going to have an absolute barnstormer again.
And I keep saying to our friend NSYNC, who has him in fantasy footy, mate, stop backing him in for another big game. Like, it ain't going to happen. And every single week he does it again. So I think this week I'm saying, yeah, he's going to have a big game. I mean, you watch him just crash and burn.
He's probably the player of Super Rugby Pacific so far.
He's been so good. He has been so good.
All right,
he's definitely the Australian player.
Yeah.